Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, directed by Jeff Rowe, produced by Seth Rogen. Now, originally, I saw this trailer in theaters when I was watching. I really don't even remember actually what I was watching. But I originally first saw the trailer and I really wasn't even. It didn't even really pique my interest, honestly. Like, I liked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the past. I grew up watching it. I had some action figures of it, whatever. But the trailer just didn't really do nothing for me. So I was just like, yeah, maybe I'll see if I'm free. I'll catch it, whatever. And I did. So, but actually, this was actually really good. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was so caught off guard by how much I really enjoyed this movie, honestly. Um, there's just so much to say, honestly. I liked how they added a little origin story in here of just how they became mutants and just how Master Splinter got them and basically came to raising them. But if you know one thing about the Ninja Turtles is all of them, they have their own distinct personalities. And that was put on full display in here. Like, you could just, everyone has their own favorite from the group, honestly, that you can relate to or at least just find the most entertaining. And that's what they really did good in here. They made sure to actually put all of their personalities on full display. And they stuck to it. And I really liked that, honestly. It really brought back the nostalgia for me as a kid. It was just, my favorite was always Raphael. So, like, and he was always the hothead. And even in here, they still show that for him. And I love that, honestly. But the main character that stood out for me in this one was Donatello, honestly. Donnie, whatever. He was just hilarious in here, honestly. It was funny, just some of his innocence and just some of his comedic value he brought to the film was just actually so good. But I really like how they have a bond as well in here. They stick to it. Like, they might like sometimes like show that they hate each other, but that's just how siblings are. Like, it's like, and that's what's good. Like, we are able to resonate with just animated turtles, man. Like, come on now, that's really good. And the main theme in here, though, basically is them trying to gain acceptance from the humans, and because they're obviously mutants, so like the humans see them in a negative light, of course, and due to their isolation for so long, like, they obviously don't know really how to act. Like, they don't know what the normal, like, status quo is and whatever. Like, they've seen it before because they usually leave their sewer just for to get necessities, grocery shopping, whatever. That's really the only time they get, like, time to do stuff like that. But they do go on their own and sneak out quite often in here, which is actually perfect, honestly, because they're teenagers, and we all know, like, at least the stereotypical teenager would always sneak out and go against the parents, because the more you are protected by your parents, the more protective your parents are, the more rebellious you're just going to be. That's just how it is, and that's what they showed in here. One thing I do want to say is that I really liked in here was the animation style, honestly. It was so good, honestly. I do remember reading an article, like, before I even watched this, where the director said that he was going for like a concept type work where they wanted the animation style to be like sketchy and just look like something we would draw when we were like kids, teenager, whatever. And he did a great job with that. There's much nostalgia value brought because of just how the animation style honestly was done. But other than that, the action sequences in here were quite done well. It was choreographed a little funny and a little goofy because that's what they're at the end of the day. They're teenagers. They're not like completely highly trained, skilled fighters. But as the fighting goes on, they get more like adapted to what combat is, and that's what I did like how they did in here. They didn't just start them off all like just strictly badass and just know how to whoop everyone, and that was good in here. Like, they made it like them develop over the course of the film, and the character development here by all of them was great. The villain, voiced by Ice Cube, let me just say, was absolutely hilarious, bro. Dude, every time Ice Cube was on our Superfly, is what his name is in here, he was hilarious. Like, because you know how Ice Cube's voice is if you've seen him or heard him or listened to him. Bro, he was just so funny in here. And every time he was on screen with the other turtles, it was just always something funny, man. And a lot of the side characters in here, the side characters in here, I think, are what actually make this movie even more memorable. Like all of Superfly's goons and his family, basically, like the rhinoceroses and the lizard. And you'll see if you haven't seen, and if you have seen, you already know what I'm talking about. But all the side characters in here were just absolutely hilarious. They had their own great personality. A lot of memorable characters in here, and that really made the film as well. But the soundtrack as well in here actually was so good. They had great uses of the '90s hip hop. I mean, you have Ice Cube on the film. You had to. One thing covered in here that they really covered a lot was acceptance, because of course the mutants turtles want to be accepted by the humans because they want to live regular lives. They don't want to be seen as monsters or villains or hated on. So they covered that in here as well, and no pun intended, but they broke out of their shell with how they just developed over the film and became more human like. It was great to see. But overall, watch this film. It was very great. I loved it. I can't even lie.